afternoon. Welcome to the Tweeds County Board of Education meeting. Thank you to our in-person and online community and stakeholders for joining us this afternoon. It is my pleasure to call the Tweeds County Board of Education meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, July the 25th. The time is 6:01 p.m. May we stand for a pledge of allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. They can see. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting, Tuesday, July the 25th, 2023.
I move that motion.
Second.
The motion has been properly made by Ms. Blackshear, seconded by Ms. King. Is there any discussion at this time? Are you ready for a question? Again, this motion has been made to approve the minutes, the agenda for tonight's session. All in favor, I know you by aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
This is the agenda for tonight.
Oh, okay.
The motion passed unanimous. Next, I need a motion. Well, you had time, according to the new chair. I'm not going to change. You had time, hopefully, to read over the June 27, 2023 with the consent text.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
I want to keep it straight.
Okay, well, thank you. So the minutes stand approved. Next, an exit statement by Ms. Teresa Blackshear.
Thank you. In accordance with regulations set forth by the Georgia Ethics Commission, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflict of interest or interest of such conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest? Seeing none, Mr. Vice Chair, we will proceed with our agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. Don't think we have no public participation tonight. Got any board members' comments or remarks? Huh?
No.
I'm gonna comment and probably make remarks. So,
Okay.
first I'd like to say I see the progress we're making with the school-based clinic. I think that's great. I see seen our new police cars. I think that's great. I have yet to see the canopy go up for the elementary JES car riders yet, and we've got to have another school year, but I'm quite sure Dr. Bullock got that coming because he promised me that. I also like to say, even with the new police cars, you know, it was an issue about the miles being put on the car. My suggestion that we need to come up with some kind of protocol. Maybe the board would do this, or maybe I don't want to be out of order, but that's something that needs to be discussed. Maybe Dr. Bullock, maybe we can do that later. And that's about it. Y'all work with me. I'm new to this, so anybody got a problem with it? See Dr. Bullock. Okay, now will be superintendent comments and remarks.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Board members, it's good to see course, to all of our family and community that are joining us virtually and those that are with us, staff that is with us in person on tonight. We had our new teacher orientation start today, and we're excited to have our new employees in place in Twiggs County. It was a wonderful day of festivities and getting to know and making introductions with our new teachers for Jeffersonville Elementary School, the middle school, as well as the high school. They will all be having new family members joining our Twiggs County family this year. We'll have them back all day tomorrow for sessions and half a day on Thursday, and they'll go into the school to start getting their classrooms together. I invite the board members to come and meet them. We'll have lunch for them tomorrow and lunch for them on Thursday. If you all can steal a few minutes away, certainly would love to have introductions. I did introduce you by picture today, so they would at least know what you look like by face when they saw you, but we sure would love to have you stop by if you can. Also, I wanted to remind the community that our open house is going to be on Saturday, August the 5th at Jeffersonville Elementary School, Twiggs County Middle High School. It'll start at 10 a.m. and it'll end at 1 p.m. So we do want to encourage all of our students, parents, and stakeholders to join us for our Twiggs County Public Schools District Open House. It's always a wonderful time for parents and students to meet the teachers, get an opportunity to walk through the halls, to see your children's schedule, to feel that feeling in the hallway. We want to get kids and parents and community members back out. So we look forward to seeing you all on Saturday, August the 5th. And school starts on Monday, August the 7th. And parents, don't worry about books and book bags and school supplies. We are going to be providing school supplies for all of our students on the first day of school. So we have that prepared for them. They'll get book bags, notebooks, pencils, pens, paper, etc. It'll be a backpack full of school supplies to get them started. So make sure they just get up, get them on the bus, and send them to school. And the classrooms will have the book bags ready for them when they arrive. So the first day of school, again, is Monday, August the 7th. And parents, if you want to take a look at the dress code that's already on the website in our handbooks, please just take a look at that dress code again to prepare to go and clothes shopping for the students this week and next weekend. Just review that dress code. The dress code will be the same for this coming year. And we'll also put it specially on the website for you for ease to see. But it is the same dress code that's in the handbooks for your review. Mr. Vice Chair, that concludes my announcements for today.
Thank you, Dr. Bullock. Now we're going to proceed to our business agenda. And we got a lot on here tonight. We don't want to do no overtime. And the board knows, that we have norms and protocols for a presentation, right, Dr. Bullock?
Absolutely.
And we're gonna try to stay within that time frame.
Yes, sir.
I got this gavel. I love to use it. First on the agenda, item A, district request. Dr. Bullock.
Again, Mr. Vice Chair, board members, we are District of the Vision, generating excellence, one team, one goal. And we do that by completing and fulfilling our mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete locally. We only have one facility request for your hearing on tonight, and that is the Friends of Twiggs County Sheriff Department would like to have a fundraiser on Saturday, October the 14th, and that's going to be from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., and they'd like to use the Twiggs County Middle High School gymnasium in order to raise money for the Sheriff Department. We'd like to get your approval of this district request. That's the only district request for this meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Bullock. Do I get a motion on the district request?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
The motion to approve the district request has been properly made by Ms. Stokes and seconded by Ms. Blackshear. Is there any discussion at this time? Are you ready for the question? Again, the motion to approve the district request as presented by Superintendent Mac Bullock. Are you ready to vote? All in favor, know you by raising your hand or saying aye. Stokes. The motion passed unanimous. Thank you, Dr. Bullock. You stay within the time, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next item is item B, tax anticipation note 10. It's an action item. Mr. James Austin.
Good evening, Board, Vice Chair, Board Member, Superintendent Dr. Bullard, constituents in person and virtually. I have my timer right here,
Thank you, sir.
and I'm gonna keep myself in order, sir. So the TAN bid, we have presented information on the last board meeting relating to cash flow and the amount that we requested. We have fulfilled our bid obligations to this point. We did receive notice for 2 banks, one interested in bidding and one stating they did not want to bid due to leadership change. So as we get into the presentation, we do have a vision of generate excellence, one team, one goal, with the mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. It does align with our strategic plan goals 1 through 5, learning and wellness for all, excellence ahead, academics, facilities, and opportunities, doing things the Tweeds way, growing and sustaining our village, and a premier people-first organization. So the Fork County Bank and Bank of Dudley was the 2 banks that we sent bids out because we have depository relationships with them. Again, Fork County Bank had a leadership change in their president, and in the past, they have submitted a bid, but they did not choose to submit a bid due to capacity, which I attached to you all's packet, and you see that email correspondence. Bank of Dudley did submit a formal bid. They submitted an interest rate of 6.75%, and I want to note that the Fed reserve rate is 5.25, and they have to be at least at the Fed reserve rate or higher. So the interest rate is higher due to the fact that the Federal Reserve is trying to cool inflation, and so their increments of increasing federal rates have impacts on borrowing as well. There are no $500 for the origination fee, and there are no other fees associated with the TAN for the per draw or any other fees. So the total is $28,112.12. If we decide to use the full amount of $945,000, it will probably be around $850 like we was last year. But they do give us the opportunity to use up to that amount. Are there any questions at this time?
When have we been asking for TAN note?
Say when?
When? How early do we normally ask for TAN note?
In the first quarter of the fiscal year, which is July, August, and September. It's in that time frame. So we normally get it, in the past 2 years, we normally got it in July, so we'll have time to process for August and September. Yes, ma'am.
Any more questions? Dr. Bullock, what is,
I asked the board to approve the tax anticipation note as presented by Mr. Austin.
you heard the request from the superintendent? May I get a motion?
I move the motion to approve the tax anticipation note.
Second.
A motion to approve the tax anticipation note. Motion was made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Ms. King. Is there any question or discussion at this time? Again, the motion is to approve the TAN anticipation note presented by Mr. Austin to use the Bank of Dudley. All in favor, I know you by yes, or either waving your hand. Raise your hand. That motion passed unanimous. Next is item C, Media Consultant Specialist Contract. Action item, Mr. James Austin.
Sir, so we've had discussions of the past several board meetings relating to our digital media consultation and that contract. So what I'm presenting tonight is an approval item based on prior conversations. Also, we know that this supports our vision of generate excellence, one team, one goal, our mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. It does align with our strategic plan goals of increasing pride within each school and classroom and communicating what makes Twigs unique. So our proposed company is Mobilista Marketing, as we discussed prior. The services that will be provided is graphic and logo design, brand management and content strategy, web content maintenance, social media management. They have a monthly all-inclusive price, all-inclusive meaning that there's no more, no less. There will be charged to the monthly fee. $400 to $500 is what charged per for the company. Other areas to consider, this addresses some of the questions that we had on other board meetings, so we can ensure that we provide that clarity. So additional training support for staff that's been identified as the most appropriate person within the district can happen within 12 to 24 months with partnerships with Central Georgia Technical College and taking certain courses to assist in that. So we have identified courses that could support existing staff. There has been a training, cross-training relationship established with Mobilista and a selected staff member within the district in order to bridge that gap and eventually transition that work over to that individual. Currently, we just don't have the staff with the capacity as far as time and with the expectation to perform that job is really a heavy lift. We have, of course, a lot of people that can do graphic flyers and et cetera, but just the posting, the reel creation, the responding to posts, that's a lot of demand. So we plan to cross-train and coach someone to fulfill that. Prior, this position was filled by a staff member. We did not replace that position. We reorganized the structure a little bit, and with what we had in the budget, we would have saved about $30,000 contracting opposed to hiring someone to fill that position. Are there any questions?
With the time frame, is it any way that the time frame could be shortened each week?
That I know you can't give me a definite answer, but what you think? Or you don't want to keep that? Or I can ask Dr. Bullock what he think.
My response, and of course, he's always welcome to answer as well. It depends on just the learning style of the person, and so that would determine how long it'll take and if that's satisfactory. So I'm not.
Well, we got a room full of educators, and I heard you say the workload capacity of what we have here, and I'm not trying to say people don't have jobs to do. We don't have 2,000 or 3,000 students. So, I mean, the less students, the less amount you have to do. And plus, I want to tell you this. You added some stuff from the last presentation.
Yes, sir.
Good selling job. Good selling job.
Yes, sir.
But I don't see that, me personally, I'm not saying we don't need it, but financially, I don't see it. Not for no contract, not even for no year, so that's just me. But, good presentation.
Thank you.
Who does it now?
Current person that we presented. The reason that we presented this information in this style, that if this person was confident with to continue throughout the entire year, it would go over the superintendent authority of $25,000. So we wanted to be proactive and approve it ahead of time. And like I stated in prior presentations, it's on a month-to-month basis. So the contract lends us an opportunity to say that in 6 months, if this person is amazing and they're trained and they're able to take over under the direction of Dr. Bullard, if he say the transition is right, then we can transition out of this service and go to the other person. So we're not tied in to approving a $54,000 contract. You're just giving, we're operating in policy. So the board is exercising their policy over $25,000, and then the superintendent will have to come back once we get to that point. But we're currently using that person now.
So you said after 6 months, if Dr. Bullock decide we don't need it,
As an example.
that the transition was good, then
Yes, sir.
what happens? He just say that's it, or he said we need more, or do we come back to the board and ask that we need to continue?
Yeah, no, if the person that we're training meets the criteria and is great work, and it meets the expectation that we decide collectively, and I'm sure he'll reach our input, then we'll decide to say, hey, we don't need this outside service, we have a person on staff, let's use a person on staff. But we have that opportunity to stop services if we give the company 30-day notice.
And I don't want to hold you up past your time, but
No, take your time. It's your time now, sir.
but I'm not a media specialist or nothing like that.
Yes, sir.
But is nobody in here? I know you might not want to raise your hand, so don't do that. But it's a lot of stuff being put on Facebook, and I know it's more to the media than Facebook. I understand that.
Yes, sir.
But as far as the community, I don't see a great response as far as I don't see me getting my money out of that from Tweeds County District. I don't see that. I heard you make a statement also that we had an employee that was doing that. And I'm not going to call employee names. I don't want to go into that. But if I remember correctly, that employee had more than that job title. At the time when that raise came to the employee, it was called that employee was doing like 2.5 jobs. And if just because we think we're saving money, the way I look at it, we need to save more than that. You know, I'm yet looking to get that canopy. We ain't got that. We ain't got money. So, but we just, and that's important to me. It might not be important to nobody else. I'm concerned about the staff getting sick, the kids getting sick out there weathering that rain. But that's what's important to me. But we'll see what happens. Any more questions?
By all this talking, I'm just trying to want to make sure that I have the right understanding. You're going to get someone that's already employed here to get employed here in order to train someone for the position that we're requesting right now for those services, mobilistic. Correct? That's the question that's kind of being asked.
That's in response to a comment that was made on the board. Yes, ma'am.
Right. So my question is, you still wanting us to approve for the full year for this mobilistic program until we know for sure that that person's on board and will take on that position? That's my question. I guess I'm trying to make sure that that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So 2 things happening. So to recap, of course, the superintendent's authority meets at that $25,000. So we're looking at roughly 4 to 5 months that service can happen until he had to bring that service to the board. So initially, we anticipated using the service for a year. I think we had some great conversations, some collaborative input, and with that, we want to always be mindful and respectful of your governance. And we looked at an opportunity to see if we can transition someone into the position in a certain time frame. At all times, the board can say to Dr. Bullock, this is not working, find us a solution, and I'm sure we'll oblige with what the governance team and Dr. Bullock wants us to do. This just gives us the opportunity not to come back to you all if we go over the 25,000, but since it's something that's very important, Mr. Rouse expressed his concerns, I'm sure you will be getting more reports before we get to that $25,000 or the end of the year. Because at this point, I think it's more important to show why we're doing this, the return on investment, and the progress of that individual being coached. So that gives an opportunity to do that. But Grant,
What you have to say about that, Dr. Bullock?
Mr. Vice Chair and board members, you've had great discussion. The questions that you've asked also have been great questions that have caused us to think and to do even more planning in reference to this. We certainly ask your support to continue the media consultant specialist contract as presented by Mr. Austin for the remainder of the year, understanding that we will be doing training of staff members and hope to transition that work internally as quickly as possible.
So you asked them to approve?
Yes, we ask you to approve the media consultant specialist contract for the full year term that Mr. Austin has mentioned. However, knowing that we are working to train and transition staff members to take over that work internally as quickly as possible.
Dr. Bullock,
Yes.
and you said full year. Now, I want to be clear. When you say year, you talking about from the school year? Or you talking about from end of December, as in calendar
Oh,
year?
it's a full school. Full school.
So we don't use her when it's not a school, going to school? When we're not in school section?
July 1 through June 30. When I think about year, let me say fiscal.
Fiscal year, yeah, because I
Fiscal.
want that to be
Fiscal
known
year.
that that's what we're talking about.
A
So it
full
won't be
fiscal year.
so there won't be any
Yes, ma'am. A
misunderstanding.
full fiscal year. July 1 through the 30th of June. Full fiscal year. That's what this contract would be for. Knowing that we were training someone, cross-training someone, giving them training, sending them to classes, etc., in hopes to transition the contract work to an internal person inside of that year if possible. But that individual has to be trained and do the work and perform the work.
So it's kind of like we got this person on retainer?
No, it would not be a retainer. If the work quality, let's say, the performance is such that in January we can make the transition, we simply would discontinue the contract at that time.
Well, what-
However, we don't want to have to come back to the board and ask for an extension if the work, the quality of the work isn't at the level that we currently see and that we've developed to generate excellence. So you wouldn't want to have to come back in the middle of the year. So the board would approve the fiscal year for the contract service, but knowing that we could discontinue it at any month during that fiscal year, as soon as we can get the internal person trained.
I guess the reason I use the term retainer is like, we don't have a set amount of work that person might do 1 month. 1 month, that person might not do but one flyer. And then I'm using that as an example. You can't say how many you're gonna do and for the amount of money. So if I'm paying you that amount to do 500, then I pay you the same amount to do 200. I don't grasp that too well right there.
Most of the companies, even the ones that are within in the region that we have reached out to get quotes for as well. They have a flat fee, and I know Mr. Austin has already presented this a couple months ago, but they have a flat fee in order to do so many assignments, and then anything after that, they charge per work. So it could get into way beyond the $4,500 per month, because they have a flat fee just to have their service, to do whatever, a certain amount. But then after that, they charge for everything individually that is requested from the district. And if we want the district, for say, to create for us, and we do, we want this company to create for us, I was talking to one of the board members, a pamphlet that advertises all of the great initiatives and opportunities for students in Twiggs County, and we want to be able to produce that and present it to our community and to our students and to our parents and stakeholders. That one design project could cost the school district multiple thousands of dollars, way beyond what this monthly contract is. So we have multiple things that we use contractors and service like this for. Case in point, our budget presentation that we did last year, if you recall, the budget presentation that you all get, that one that's in the notebook, multiple pages, that would have cost us multiples of thousands of dollars to produce and work with the company. But by having this flat rate, whatever those projects that we have that we want to produce, we have this one flat rate, and we know that we want to take advantage of that. So we don't restrict the principals, we don't restrict central office. When they have something that they want to produce, we say, we have a company that will produce that for us at a high quality. Go ahead and call, go ahead and get it produced, and when it's come back, we've gotten very, very positive feedback. So it is a very conservative way based on what's out in the market. A very conservative way. And we certainly will get our money's worth for the rate that's being charged every month, just based on what the market charges for this kind of work. So there is no question that we will get the amount of work every month than what this company is charging. There's no question.
Thank you, sir.
But we certainly are going to be working to train someone internally at the board's request, try to turn that work over to someone internally. So, we have some training to do.
Okay, we heard the recommendation from the superintendent. What do I hear?
I have another.
Okay.
I was asking, since we are training our people, could we at least start off with 6 months instead of the year, a year contract?
And
Because,
how far we get in 6 months with the training?
Because when you're in training usually, 30, 60 days or 90 days. So
And then come back to the board in
If-
6 months to make the request for an additional period of time
if we need it,
if we need it.
hopefully we won't, but if we do need it.
Yes. Understand.
But like I said, training shouldn't be, we got some pretty smart people who that I think can do the job.
Board members, I don't have a problem amending the request for the motion to approve media consultant specialist contract for a 6-month period of time, and then revisit it at the end of the 6 months to see if we have an internal employee who has been trained and can take over the work internally. And we can revisit it in 6 months.
Y'all heard the recommendation from the superintendent.
That's the recommendation. Amend the request for the media consultant specialist contract to 6 months, and then revisit it at the 6-month time to see if we have someone internally who the work can be transitioned to. That's the amended request.
I so moved that motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion to amend to 6 months contract as far as the media consultant specialist and revisit in 6 months to see if we have an in-house person that could take over the job. Then discussion at this time. Are you ready for the question? Again, the motion to approve and amend 6 months contract for a media consultant specialist and revisit in 6 months. All in favor? I know you by saying aye or raise your hand. All opposed? That motion passed 3-1. Next, item D, Mr. Austin. Contingency cruise alert, safety.
Yes, sir. So Centegix, we have had the opportunity to beta test this at our elementary school. We have been working very closely with state officials such as GMA through our safety audit that we received, and we did get a passing score, but we had a list of improvements. And one of those things that we saw that we needed a way to activate some type of quick response if someone needed help. And so thus far, the elementary school has been outfitted with Centegix. And so we look to now do a district-wide rollout at our middle high school and at the central office. So it does align with our vision of generating excellence, one team, one goal, and our mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. It does align with our strategic plan goals, learning and wellness for all, and number 2, excellence ahead, academics, facilities, and opportunities. I have a 1-minute video, 1 minute and 10 seconds to be exact, that will show you what Centegix is, it in effect, and why we're looking for this solution.
Every second matters in an emergency. The Centegix Crisis Alert System gives staff members the ability to instantly report emergencies and appropriately respond to any situation that may occur on a school's campus faster than ever before. The most likely use of the Centegix safety system will be the 3-press alert, used for common situations that require immediate medical as well as prevention and intervention in student altercations.
Staff alert in room 122.
But the Centegix system is also built to deal with the worst-case scenario, a school intruder or active shooter emergency. A total school lockdown can be triggered by any staff member on the school's campus by repeatedly pressing the crisis alert badge. This type of alert immediately notifies the local safety team, district personnel, and all local law enforcement of a dangerous threat on the school grounds. The Crisis Alert System also gives school administrators the ability to broadcast emergency codes to the entire student body on and off campus in the event of a major emergency at the push of a button. The new Centegix Alert System uses the latest in emergency response technology to ensure the safety of its schools.
So this was coming once we looked at this solution. 60% of the state uses Centegix, so it's a well-developed solution in the state of Georgia, and so we're very confident in its abilities and what it can do. So the price point for Centegix for the middle high school is $24,000 for 3 years, so that's not $24,000 every year, it's $24,000 in the total of those 3 years, and the same at the central office. They do have setup fees, installation fees, and things of that nature like any other installation would have. or implementation will have, and that's $11,300, give us a total of $59,300. The great thing, the state and the governor has a safety conscious mind. They provided us $150,000 in safety dollars, so we're going to use, and they changed the flexibility of it because now we can use the $150,000 for any place that students reside. So we're able to use that to offset that cost. And this will be sustained after those 3 years out of our SPLOST funds. We have written the SPLOST to address safety, so we can take care of that in looking at 2026, and we'll be going into year 2 of the new SPLOST. So we'll have the funding, the dollars will be there, and the budget already be in place for that. We will not use any of our local tax dollars or general fund. We'll use safety grants now and then sustain out of SPLOST in 2026 when the next 3 years come around. Any questions?
Any questions, Mr. Austin?
Is this system going to be hooked up to the greenhouse too?
That's a great question. Great
Great
question. Yes, ma'am. So the badge, as long as you're on the campus, they can press the badge wherever they are on the campus. So if they're in the greenhouse and she needs help, she can do that. And we also have an emergency call box out there by the greenhouse as well that he or she can press if they need help, and it'll go directly to the SROs. So we do have coverage at the greenhouse too. And our athletic facilities as well. As long as they're within the perimeters of in our facilities, it'll pick up.
Any more questions? What's your recommendation, Dr. Bullock?
Mr. Vice Chair, I request that the board approve the Centegis Crisis Alert Safety System as presented by Mr. Austin.
I heard the recommendation from the superintendent to approve the Centegis Crisis Alert Safety System. I get a motion?
I just got one question, sorry, Mr. Vice Chair. So will we be getting bids on who's gonna be doing the work for?
No, ma'am, they do all the work.
They do all the work?
Yes, ma'am. It's a simple install. It's a screw and place on the
Okay.
wall and drill into a socket in order to
So
put
they
the
do
mounts.
everything.
So everything, they did it over a weekend, I believe, last time we set up. So it's their crew. We don't pay anybody else. That's how I do that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It's a good question.
No more questions? So we heard the recommendation from the superintendent. What do I hear?
I move that we approve the Centegis Crisis Alert System.
Second.
A motion to approve Centegis Crisis Alert Safety System as presented by Mr. Austin. The motion has been properly made by Ms. King and seconded by Ms. Blackshear. Is there any questions or discussion at this time? Again, the motion to approve Centegis Crisis Alert Safety System as presented by Mr. Austin. All in favor? I know you by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passed unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. Next is item E, image learning, quote, revised. Dr. Griffin Stewart.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair Rouse, board members, to Chair Karstoffen in his absence, to Superintendent Dr. McBullard, to all of our stakeholders listening virtually and in person. It brings me great pleasure to share the image learning renewal. But before I can share that information, we are a district with a vision and a mission. Our vision is generating excellence, one team, one goal, and our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare our students to compete globally. This presentation aligns with our strategic plan. Our objective focus is number one, learning and wellness for all. It also supports our district school improvement plan objective, all about increasing the number of teachers, implementing all components of the instructional framework, the opening work session and closing, to 80% as defined by the Georgia Department of Education. Just a quick review on Imagine Learning, and it's the same as Edgenuity. It's an educational technology company that provides online solutions to schools, educators, and students. The purpose of Edgenuity is to offer a comprehensive and customizable online learning platform to enhance and support traditional classroom instruction or to provide a complete online learning experience. The purpose of Imagine Learning: personalized learning for our students. It offers adaptive learning paths and personalized content to help students learn at their own pace and focus on areas where they need more support. We also use it as credit recovery, where students can earn credits to catch up and keep them on track for graduation. Number 3, the coursework expansion. Schools and districts use Edgenuity to expand their course offerings. So we do offer students additional electives and additional courses and even CTAE courses as needed to make sure we keep our students on path for graduation. Blended learning. Edgenuity supports blended learning environments where students engage in a combination of in-person and online learning. And then it also offers flexible learning options. It enables students to access their coursework from wherever an internet connection is. And it also definitely supports our Twigs Online Academy students. Data-driven insights. Edgenuity is a platform that collects data on student performance, and it allows educators to gain insights on the students' progress, where they need support, and where they don't need support. 7, teacher support. Edgenuity is a tool and resources for teachers to create their lesson plans, monitor student progress, and it provides targeted interventions. So it's definitely an instructional resource for students. And last but not least, we use it for our summer school programs for our high school students. So again, Edgenuity is for summer programs to provide additional learning opportunities during the break. The Imagine Learning Edgenuity renewal. You can see we'll continue with our digital libraries, 6 through 12, digital libraries enhanced, and also CTE options. Integration, of course, we pay that for Clever and classwork so we can sync. MyPass K-12 reading and math, and the professional development component is also there. So the quote for renewal is $39,090. Are there any questions?
Is there any questions for Dr. Griffin Stewart? No question. What's your recommendation, Dr. Bullock?
Mr. Vice Chair and board members, I recommend that you approve the Imagine Learning quote that's revised for our renewal for this coming year.
You heard the recommendation from the superintendent. What do I hear?
I move that motion.
Second.
Motion to approve the Imaging Learning quote revised presented by Dr. Griffin Stewart. The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and second by Ms. King. Is there any discussion at this time? Are you ready for the question? Again, the motion to approve the Imaging Learning quote revised presented by Dr. Griffin Stewart. You ready to vote? All in favor, I know you by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimous.
All right, thank you.
Item F, you still there, Dr. Griffin Stewart?
All right, I'm ready, Vice Chair.
All right.
Our pre-planning schedule, we're excited that our teachers will be returning on this upcoming Monday, and we do have a lot of instructional and organizational effectiveness things that we will cover with them. But before I can share this presentation, we are a district with a vision and a mission. Our vision is generating excellence, one team, one goal, and our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. This presentation aligns with our strategic plan objective focus number 1, learning and wellness for all. Our district school improvement plan objective is all about increasing the number of teachers implementing all components of the instructional framework, the opening work session and closing, to 80% as defined by the Georgia Department of Education. Our teachers will return on this upcoming Monday, July 31st, and we will start off with convocation. Our convocation will be from 9 to 12, and it will be held in the JES gym. And lunch will be also provided that day from 12 to 1 in the JES gym. JES will have planning time for the remainder of that day from 1:30 to 3:30. And then the Twiggs County Middle High School will plan from 1 to 2:30. And then I'll meet with the full staff to go over teaching and learning expectations that day with the Twiggs County Middle High School from 2:30 to 3:30. On day 2, we will have Promethean board training because our classrooms have been installed with our new Promethean boards. And so JES will go first from 9 to 10:15. It will be in the JES Media Center. Then we will have Promethean board training from 1:30 to 2:45 at the Twiggs County Middle High School. Will also be in the Media Center. We have some vertical teaming for our science teachers, 4th through 12th grade. It will be here in the Board of Education's conference room from 11 to 1. And then we will have our safety trainings. JES will be first up for safety training from 1 to 2:30 in the Media Center at JES. And then I will meet with the teaching staff from 2:30 to 3:30 to go over teaching and learning expectations. Day 3, we'll have our district professional learning day, and it's loaded with a day of learning. Our already training for our K through 5 teachers will be from 8:30 to 11:30, JES Media Center. Our ready training for our 6th through 8th grade teachers will be from 12:30 to 3:30, also in the Media Center at the Twiggs County Middle High School. We will have Carnegie Learning training for our high school teachers. This is our new math textbook instructional materials. So we'll have training from 8 to 3:30 for those targeted high school math teachers. And then we will have training, and it will be virtual training for our 9th through 12th grade teachers on Imagine Learning, Ingenuity, and that will be virtually. On August the 3rd, we will have part 2 of Carnegie Learning for our high school math teachers from 8 to 11. And then we'll have special education teachers training from 12 to 1. It'll be in the boardroom. And last but not least, on August the 4th, we will have special education teachers co-teaching training. It will only be for the middle high school teachers from 9 to 10:30 in the Twiggs County Middle High School Media Center. And then we will welcome our parents and students on August the 5th from 10 to 1. Are there any questions?
Any question for Dr. Griffin Stewart? Seems none. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Next is item G, summer school results. Information item. Dr. Polk and Ms. Hunt. I see they principals in the house. Kind of protect y'all.
Good evening, Board Vice Chair Rouse, Board Chair Karstoffen in his absence, all board members, Superintendent Dr. Mac Bullard, all of our stakeholders, and our in-person visitors, and those who are joining us virtually. It is a privilege to share the story of our summer learning experience at JES. But before I can give you this information, I must tell you, we are a district with a vision of generating excellence, one team, one goal. Our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. This summer, my awesome principal, Mrs. Reese Jenkins, gave me the opportunity to serve as a summer learning experience director, and it was an amazing experience. But I couldn't have done any of this without our fabulous JES teachers. As you will see, each grade level had 2 teachers, and these were all current JES educators. I want to call your attention to one educator in particular, Ms. Brown. She's one of our new hires at JES, and she jump-started her work with us at JES by teaching summer school. She taught math, 5th grade math. So who attended our summer school? You will notice on the first day we had 118 students. Draw your attention to 3rd grade, they had the highest average attendance rate. And you also notice that these numbers dwindle towards the end. The last day we had 88 students to attend summer school, and those numbers decreased because of several reasons. One, they may have had other family obligations to come up. A few students were dismissed because of attendance because they could only miss one instructional day. A few students were dismissed because of behavior. And on the last day, because there were 88, some students just chose not to come on that last day since it was the final day, and they wouldn't be penalized for not attending. So as far as demographics, if you'll notice in grades pre-K through 2nd, there were more males who attended this summer. Then for grades 3 through 5, there were more females who attended, so I thought that was interesting. But overall, more males attended than females, because that is our target population. Okay, so what was taught during summer school? So the standards that were taught for grades pre-K through 2nd included writing conventions, it included key details and main ideas. In math for grades pre-K through 2nd, they focused on counting and number recognition, solving word problems, and addition and subtraction. The content focus for 3rd through 5th grade in ELA included author's point of view, main idea, and theme. And in math, they focused on multiplication and division, picture and bar graphs, and properties of 2-dimensional figures. So how was this instruction planned for our summer experience? Our teachers used the iReady data from the final diagnostic that we gave at the end of our school year. They determined that 3 standards that would be taught. Our students were also given a pre and a post assessment to see where they were at the beginning of the program and how they progressed to the end of the program. I met with teachers weekly to discuss their pre and post data and discuss their students' progress. And progress was also, and at that time, it was so great to see that there was progress being made from the pre to the post assessment. Progress was also monitored by classroom like quizzes and review games and teacher observations. So what was the outcome? And I want you all to keep, as you're looking at these numbers, I want you all to keep in mind that this is the average growth per grade level, and it's based on their pre and their post-test scores. So if you'll notice, in 5th grade, it showed the most growth in ELA. And once again, I want to remind you that these scores you're seeing are grade level averages and are not reflective of each individual student's growth. In math, you will notice that 5th grade showed the most growth with a 31-point increase. And once again, this is an average of the grade level pre and post-test scores. Our scholars also had an opportunity to participate in many engaging enrichment activities, and the majority of these activities were sponsored by our very own Twiggs County staff members. Ms. Thomas, who is our nutrition manager at JES, she had food and nutrition activities. Students got to make fruit pizzas, and they also got to make charcuterie boards. Ms. Sampson, who's our family engagement coordinator, she had character ed sessions for students. Mr. Wilson, who was our music teacher at JES, he also had music and PE sessions for our students as well. So which of our community partners participated? Pastor Wright of the First Baptist Church, he came in to do recreational activities with our students. Pastor Jordan with Read United and his team came in to do reading, to go over reading skills with our students. Ms. Jackie Curtis with the Communities and Schools of Lawrence and Twiggs Counties was a funding source for our summer learning experience. And then one of our favorite doctors right here in Twiggs County, right now from JES, Dr. Callens and her team of Community Healthcare Systems came in to do read-alouds with our students. So how were our parents involved? At the beginning, well, before the session started, there was an informational meeting where we just gave parents general information about what to expect during this summer experience. There was a mandatory parent meeting where they had to attend before their students could come to summer school. Parents were contacted throughout the program to discuss their child's progress and how they were doing with this experience. And finally, for our field trip, which I'm going to tell you about shortly, some parents had the opportunity to be chaperones on our field trips. For the field trip, our culminating activity, Ms. Jackie Curtis with the Communities and Schools of Lawrence and Twiggs County sponsored and funded our field trip to the Pine Mountain Wild Animal Safari. Our students got to see, learn about, and even feed all types of wild animals. It was a very exciting experience for them. And also, even better was it was aligned with our theme from last year at JES, which was Wild About Learning. So it all kind of tied in together. So how was the summer learning experience for our teachers? Our teachers stated that they enjoyed the field trips, the enrichment activities, and facilitating small group instruction. One of our educators, Miss Brandy Anderson, who's a third grade teacher at JES, summed it up when she said the entire summer school experience fostered academic growth, promoted personal development, and gave our students a positive attitude towards learning. It was an unforgettable and enriching opportunity for all. Our scholars shared that they loved the field trip because they got to feed the animals. Another scholar said the best part about summer school was the cooking class. I wish it was longer. So they enjoyed cooking with Ms. Thomas. Another student said, I like the sink or float activity we did in class, and a lot of our classrooms had like different hands-on activities. So they said really enjoyed this one in particular. And our student also said, I really liked summer school because I learned to get me ready for 5th grade. So in closing, summer school was the best learning experience ever because our scholars showed academic growth, they learned new skills for the next grade level, and they got to engage in some fabulous enrichment activities. So if you're asking if our summer learning experience was worth it, I would say absolutely. And remember, JES is the best. Are there any questions?
Thank you, spoke. Anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Vice Chair Rouse, board members, board chairperson Karstoffen in his absence, Superintendent Dr. Mac Bullard, community stakeholders here and online. I am Mia J. Hunt, and I am going to give you the Twiggs County Middle High School Summer School Overview. Before I can give you that, let me first tell you that we are a school with a vision and a mission, and our vision is generating excellence, one team, one goal. Our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. So how do we do that? We had summer school. We had 12 teachers in total from the middle high school that were able to accompany our students to get them to achieve their goals. For middle school, we had 4 teachers, with an exception of Ms. Lena Thickle, that was a high school teacher, but she helped us with middle school. And then for Edgenuity, we had 3 of our teachers, and then we did have a little bit of enrichment with PE, music, and art. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is student demographics for middle school. So for our middle school, we had a total of 24. 7th grade, we had a total of 35, and for 8th grade, we had a total of 39, which gave us a rounding thing of 98 middle school students. Our middle schoolers knew that they needed to come in order to be successful going, especially our 8th graders getting ready to go to high school. We wanted to make sure that we pushed them and told them that in order for you to get to the next level, let's set some foundations. For our high schoolers, we seem to have more boys than girls, but that's okay. because we realize that we are going to work more with them in order to get them where they need to be. So our numbers were about 43 all in total that worked on Edgenuity classes. For our attendance, we had 137 students in total, 146 for the second week. The third week, we ranged about 140, and for that fourth week, we had 140 that first and second day as the students were completing the first and the second day. And then for that last 2 days, of course, they knew that they could only miss 2 days of school for determining central idea and analyzing key details. This ranged from 6th to 7th grade. And for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade math, they focused on 2 to 3 standards. Just a summarization of that will be interpreting and computing quotients for 6th grade. For 7th grade, using variables to represent quantities in real world or mathematical problems. And then for 8th grade, they looked at graphing proportionals and interpreting the unit rate. We had some data, and I was super excited about this data. So we had a pre and a post test. The students came in on day 2 to take the pre-test. And when they took the pre-test, a lot of the students were scared. But we told them the biggest thing we need from you is growth. So it's okay to be scared. Show the growth at the end. And they did that. So our 6th and 7th and 8th grade students, ELA and math, did amazing. We had a total of I don't even know the number because it's not on here, but they did amazing. They showed the growth that we needed them to show. So that was absolutely awesome. And then for our pre and post test for the ELA and math 7th grade, they showed growth as well. That was what we wanted them to do. And then for 8th grade, in all those content areas that you saw a couple of slides back, they also showed growth. So we are super excited about our students showing growth. They did what they were supposed to do, and they showed that summer school was what they needed to have in order to do what they needed to do. So as we look at our high school Edgenuity report, which you've heard a little bit about earlier, we had a total of 43 students to come. The students were only allowed to take 2 classes to make up for summer school. So the total number that passed both classes is 27. And then we had 8 students that only passed 1 class if they had 2 classes. And then we only had 6 students that didn't pass either class. So as we look at these numbers, the number that may be a little alarming is the 6 students that didn't pass either class. So though we push our students, we're still going to have students that do not do what they're supposed to do. Either they didn't come to class every day, or they didn't participate in the work. So we met with our teachers and our students every day. The teachers had to go over their goals, let them know it, but we had a few students that just didn't pass what they needed to do. So we're not going to leave them by the wayside. When we come back in for this new school year, we have the opportunity for after school so they can catch up on these classes. It will not be this same class, but they'll be able to catch up on those skills they need to catch up on during summer school. And then we also have included a sub-zero in our schedule. So the students that miss those classes will be entered into this sub-zero location so that they can catch those skills that they need to catch during the school year. And finally, what did our students have to say? I have to read this. I am going to make sure I am going to do my work because I don't want to come back to summer school. So that let me know that we did what we were supposed to do during summer school. The second student was a 7th grader, and that was an 8th grader that said that. So the second student said, I am glad I got to see my friends. They're still social. They want to play a little bit during summer school still and see their friends. 6th grader said, I was able to understand the lessons better in groups because they worked mainly in small groups during the whole entire summer school course, with one exception of one day being a whole group. So we saw that that worked effectively even in middle school. Summer school was organized well if everyone played their parts. Of course, when you have a team and everyone works together, it is, and then it's very organized, it's going to work like it needs to, said by Ms. Jackson. Mr. Stevens said the summer school was very good. Those students who needed that extra help during summer school were able to receive it during summer school, which will help them next year as they progress to the next level. And then Ms. Sanders was a new teacher. She came in ready to go, and she said that summer school was beneficial for students as well as myself. So in closing, as we are competing globally to make sure that these students are understanding what they need to do in order to be the human beings and adult human beings when they get to the real world life, summer school had to happen. And so I'm very grateful for the opportunity given by my leader, Dr. Simmons, because this showed me that it took a lot for this to get to happen. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity. So if you ask me, just as Dr. Pope said, was it worth it? Absolutely. Any questions?
Thank you. Those great reports. I also like to thank Community and Schools, Twigs, and Lawrence County, and Ms. Jackie Curtis for the funding. Next. Okay. The next item is H. Greater Careers Work Partnership Information. The Denson. Ain't seen you in a while.
I know, it's been a while. Vice Chair Rouse, board members, Board Chair Karstoffen in his absence, Superintendent Dr. Mack Bullard, community stakeholders in person and online, I bring you greetings. Tonight, I would like to speak to you about the Greater Career Works Partnership. Before I do so, we are a district with a vision of generating excellence, one team, one goal, and a mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. As part of that mission and that vision, we have to set strategic goals. And this presentation and this partnership falls under our strategic goal 4, which is growing and sustaining our village. And we want to take a community-wide approach to developing a quality academic and professional environment. So why Greater Career Works, and who should join Greater Career Works? Greater Career Works is a platform that will allow all of us, whether we were a student, an individual, an educator, a business and industry in the community, or any of our agencies, to be in one place at the same time working together to ensure that our students are prepared to compete globally. With Greater Career Works, and why? It's going to encourage our students to take ownership of their futures. It's a platform that will allow our kids to be able to say, hey, I could do that, through the exposure that they'll receive from those different careers. Greater Career Works is committed to supporting teachers in our efforts to facilitate the training of our students so that they are able and ready to compete in the global and the local workforce. It helps businesses to get skilled workers that they'll need to be successful, and it supports individuals. Like in our strategic goal, we want to take a community-wide approach. Greater Career Works is not just for the student, it is for the parent, it is for the family, it is for anyone in our community as a stakeholder that is looking to go into the world of work. But there are features that are specific to our teachers. It's going to give the teachers an ability to interact and communicate with our students about what their future goals are. It's going to help them to earn some skills and some ready-to-work skills or work-ready skills. They're going to be able to develop online resumes, and they're going to be able to explore career pathways with their students inside of the classroom. Greater Career Works, the platform will allow teachers to curate lessons that will help our students to gain skills and to look into some career development opportunities. It will keep us connected to local business and industry. One of the things and one of the challenges and charges that we have is that as educators, sometimes we're in the building, but we don't really fully understand what we're preparing our students for. So what will those careers look like? What will their futures look like once they leave our doors? So in Greater Career Works, it'll give us an opportunity to see what careers are actually available to our students, to our families, to our parents, so that we're able to actually prepare them for those jobs once they leave high school. And it'll allow us to track their coursework. So what badges are they earning? What careers are they actually interested in? What does their portfolio look like as they're building it on the platform? The biggest thing is access for all. As I've said it before, because we want a community-wide approach, Greater Career Works will have access for all individuals within Twiggs County. That's our students, that's our parents, that's any community members that want to take advantage of using the platform to connect with potential employers. Each individual will be able to create a profile. In that profile, they can create resumes, they can do career research, they can learn about different areas of growth and places that they can actually earn employment within the region. They earn badges so that when they're applying for jobs, those businesses that are already interacting with the interface, they'll see, okay, well, Ms. Jensen, she's able to do this, 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 and this. She's already completed this coursework, and it's online available to her. The business is able to see it. The individual feels that sense of accomplishment. So the next pieces about this is these are jobs that have vacancies right now. So if a parent wanted to apply for that position, it's all right there in one spot. So these are actual businesses and industries that have joined the platform, and they're advertising for their respective careers. The logistics of it, everyone in Twist County, students, parents, staff, community stakeholders will have access to this platform at no cost. Training for instructors and staff will be provided at no cost. That training could happen virtually or it could happen in person. That is the decision of the district and building level administrators. Students and staff will have access to the platform through ClassLink. And when we say all students, we mean from pre-K to 12th grade. So everybody would have access. One of the big things or one of the big features they have is what they call Future Workforce Fridays. And there are people in business and industry, and they host virtual events. Students are able to communicate with those individuals via live chat. They can ask questions. It's just very interactive. The instructors and administrators will have access to student engagement and progress reports, and instructors will have autonomy to decide how they want to use the platform in their instruction, but it'll give them an opportunity to be able to relate the real world to what we're teaching in our classrooms. Are there any questions? Thank you for the opportunity. Oh, sorry.
No question? Thank you.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Next two items. First item is facility use policy. First read information item, Mr. Tyrone Bacon.
Good evening, Vice Chair Rouse, Dr. Bullard, and our guests and other board members. Tonight, I'll present to you our proposed facility use policy. But first, I'd like you to know that we're a district with a vision, generating excellence, one team, one goal, with the mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all of our students to compete globally. This aligns with our strategic focus of areas 1 and 2, learning and wellness for all, excellence ahead, academics, facilities, and opportunity. The facility use policy update began with our facility use policy review team. And I definitely wasn't including a packet originally. Wanted to thank all of them because this was a long process, a year-long process. Mr. Washington, our custodial supervisor, Mr. Welcher, who is here tonight, JAS counselor, Ms. Collins, the assistant to the superintendent, Ms. Walker, the registrar, Ms. Stanley, our new director of nutrition, Mr. Arade Perry, the athletic director, and Mr. Diageo Harris, who is a JAS teacher. We try to formulate a team of people so we can get different perspectives. The team was asked to research policies of the surrounding counties as well as the customs and expectations of our school district to develop a new policy. So the intent of the proposed policy update is to have the following effect on district operations. 1, we'd like to streamline the approval process. 2, protect the district's interest by decreasing liabilities. Capture the true cost of renting the facilities or providing related services, and provide better customer service and feedback. In your package, you were provided the first draft of the policy as well as the original policy as it stands today. Tonight, I will read an executive summary of that policy, of the proposed policy, and highlighting its newer components. The proposed board policy aims to clarify the rules governing the use of Twiggs County School District's facilities by external entities. While the district has always been open to providing its facilities as a community service, the new policy now states that only residents, taxpayers, or landowners within the county can rent them. The policy also outlines the specific hours of rental agreements and the use of auxiliary facilities such as our kitchen. Additionally, the policy provides the details on timelines for submitting an application and the district response to inquiries, as well as handling of fees. The policy comprises several major components, new components, including the requirement of liability insurance for anyone renting the district's facility. Events with over 50 attendees will be required to have a presence of a security officer. The approval process will be streamlined, with the superintendent having authority to approve facility agreements for single use. The policy also stipulates that the superintendent must report all facility use approvals at board meetings. Meanwhile, multi-use facility agreements will require prior board approval. There's a new section on outlining how we rent, use, and charge for athletic facilities. These are some of the highlights within our new policy. Are there any questions?
Any questions, Mr. Bacon? Next item, item J, is Tyrone Bacon.
Our next item is secure vestibule installation. But first, I'd like to remind that we are a district with a vision, one team, one goal, with a mission to inspire, challenge, prepare all of our students to complete globally. Installing the vestibules, secure vestibules, aligns with our strategic focus areas of 1 and 2, learning and wellness for all, excellence ahead, academics, facilities, and opportunity. What is a secure vestibule? The secure vestibule will function as a transitional area between the public spaces like the main office, the receptionist location, and the interior of the building. They act as a barrier to unwanted entry into areas that are occupied by our students, making sure they are kept secure. The vestibules will be the first defense in keeping our students and staff safe and providing additional time for law enforcement to respond to any potential dangerous situation. What is our plan? The plan is to install a secure vestibule at each school, allowing controlled access to student-populated areas. Once approved by the board, the vestibules will take approximately 8 weeks to source and install. The vestibules will feature shatter-resistant glass, as well as electronic access controls. Glass was chosen because it still allows visibility of student movement and light to flow into the buildings. As you can see, we have two diagrams of a diagram of how that would kind of fit. They would go at the end of each receiving entrance in each building. So that is the high school, and you can see there's glass and metal with two glass doors. We would put shatterproof glass as well as tamper-resistant film on the glass. So that's for both schools, Ms. Jenkins. The cost to install 2 secure vestibules, including all locks and access controls. The middle high school, $24,453. Jeffersonville Elementary, $29,000. There's a height difference, so we're going to be taking that wall all the way to the ceiling, using the walls as the bracing points to secure, if approved. The budget, the project will be funded by a safety grant that was awarded by Water to Schools by Governor Deal in the FY23 amended budget. Our proposed vendor is Locksmith Associates. Locksmith Associates has been the district's longtime locksmith, local vendor for the last 23 years. So they deal with all our locks, locking mechanisms. And they were also the vendor of our last major lock and lock upgrade as we're doing that now. Are there any questions?
If there are no questions, thank you, Mr. Bacon.
Thank you.
Great
Vice Chair
information,
Ross.
great presentation. There anything else for the business agenda? Dr. Bullock.
Mr. Vice Chair, we have successfully completed our business agenda for tonight in record time.
Yes, sir. I have a motion to exit business agenda and business meeting and go into executive session.
Second.
The motion has been properly made by Ms. Blackshear, seconded by Ms. King, to exit business meeting and go into executive session. Is there any discussion at this time? So are you ready for the question? Again, I say the motion is to exit business meeting and go into executive session. You are ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. That motion passed unanimous. Thank you all. Good afternoon again. We're back. Need a motion to exit executive session and come back into public session.
Second.
Motion been properly made by Ms. Stokes, seconded by Ms. Blightshire to exit executive session, come back into public section. Any discussion at this time? Are you ready for the question? Again, the motion is to exit executive session and come back into public session. All in favor, I know you by aye, and raise your hand. And motion passed unanimous. In executive session tonight, we have 3 new hires. Recommendation from the superintendent, EID 74799, CID 4848, CID 4839. Do I get a motion to approve?
I move that motion to approve all 3 new hires.
The motion has been properly made by Ms. Blackshield, second by Ms. King, to approve the three new hires, CID 4799, CID 4848, CID 4839. Any discussion at this time? Again, the motion is to approve the new hires presented by the superintendent. Are you ready to vote? All in favor, I know you by raising your hand or saying aye. Motion passed unanimous. I have a motion to adjourn this meeting. Do I get a second? Motion has been properly made by Ms. Stokes, second by Ms. King, that this meeting stand adjourned. Any discussion at this time? All in favor? I know you by saying aye. Raise your hand. The motion passed unanimous. Thank you. Thank you all.